The most successful person you will ever meet started late, and the most dangerous lie you were ever told was that this is a problem. Right now, somewhere, a 22-year-old is crying because they haven't made it yet. A 34-year-old is paralyzed because everyone from high school has already built something. A 47-year-old sits in silence every night, convinced that their window has closed. And none of them know that Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in human history, spent the first half of his life in preparation, not in failure. They don't know that Jung said something so quietly devastating that most people hear it and immediately forget it, because forgetting it is easier than accepting it. He said, the first half of life is about building the ego. The second half is about destroying it. Stay with that. Because if you've been feeling behind, if you've been watching other people bloom while you're still just soil, this is the video you didn't know you needed. Here's what nobody tells you about success. The version of success that the world sells you has a timestamp on it. Get into the right school by 18. Build a career by 25. Have the house, the title, the thing by 30. And if you haven't hit those marks, if you're still figuring it out, still searching, still becoming, the world quietly reclassifies you. You're no longer a work in progress. You're a cautionary tale. And so you start comparing. You open Instagram and see the 26-year-old CEO. You watch YouTube and see the 29-year-old with a 7-figure business. And something in your chest tightens because you're 31 and you still feel like you're warming up. You still feel like the real version of your life hasn't started yet. That feeling, that chronic, low-grade shame of being behind, that is not a sign that you failed. That is a sign that you are in the middle of something Carl Jung spent his entire career trying to explain. But before we get to that, I need to make something very uncomfortable clear. Most people who feel like late bloomers aren't actually late. They are simply measuring themselves against the wrong clock. And that wrong clock is not just making them feel bad. It is actively destroying the very thing they are trying to build. Here's what I mean. When you're obsessed with catching up, when your primary emotion is urgency, and your primary fuel is comparison, you make a very specific kind of decision. You chase what is visible. You chase what looks impressive. You chase what will quiet the voice in your head that says you're behind. And what you end up building is not a life. It's a performance. It's a collection of achievements that were chosen not because they meant something to you, but because they meant something to the crowd watching you. And Jung saw this coming. He described it as the persona, the mask we build for the world. And he said that the first half of life is dominated by the construction of that mask. You figure out what the world rewards. You learn what earns approval, what earns income, what earns love. And you become very good at being that thing. But here's where it gets brutal. The stronger the mask, the weaker the self underneath it. Now here's the part that nobody on the internet talks about. Jung called it the individuation process. And it almost always begins with a crisis. Not a small crisis. Not a bad week. A real structural fracture. A moment where the life you built, the job, the relationship, the identity you worked so hard to perform, stops working. It stops fitting. And you stand there, holding the pieces, wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is that you grew. The self underneath the mask became too large for the container. And that is not failure. That is the most important developmental event in a human life. Jung noticed that this almost never happens to the early bloomers. The people who find success fast, who build the career and the brand and the platform before they've had time to ask the deeper questions, They often get stuck. They get stuck inside the very thing that made them successful. Because why would you question what's working? Why would you take the mask off if the mask is getting you everything you thought you wanted? But the late bloomer, the person who spent years in the wilderness, in the searching, in the uncertainty, they were doing something. They were doing something invisible, unglamorous, and essential. They were meeting themselves. Think about the people in history who changed the world after 40. Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until she was 40. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his career-defining role until his mid-40s. Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 49. And Carl Jung himself, the man whose entire body of work we're discussing, he had his most important psychological breakthrough after a complete mental and emotional breakdown at 38. These aren't accidents. This is a pattern. And the pattern is this: real depth takes time to develop. Not because these people were slow, but because the work they needed to do, the interior work, the self-confrontation, the long, quiet dismantling of every borrowed identity, that work does not run on someone else's schedule. And here's what I want you to hold on to right now, because this is the turning point. The world measures your output. Jung was interested in your becoming. So what does this actually mean for you? What do you do if you're sitting in that place, feeling behind, feeling lost, feeling like everyone else cracked the code and you missed the memo? First, understand this. The discomfort you feel is not random. It has structure. Jung described the experience of the late bloomer not as a pathology, but as a calling toward depth. The people who feel most behind are often the people who are being asked by something inside them to go further than the surface, to not settle for the first answer, to refuse to be satisfied by a life that looks right but doesn't feel true. That refusal, that's not weakness, that's integrity. Second, and this is the one that will change how you see every single morning from this point forward, Jung said that the goal of the second half of life is not achievement, it is wholeness. And wholeness means integrating the parts of yourself you abandoned in the chase, the creativity you stopped feeding because it didn't pay, the relationships you deprioritized because they didn't scale, the silence you avoided because it asked too many questions. The late bloomer, more than anyone else, is positioned for wholeness because they haven't spent 20 years cementing a false self. They're still in motion. They're still porous. They can still be changed. And here's the brutal truth that this whole video has been building toward. Being early is not the same as being ahead. There are people who will hit every cultural milestone on time. The degree, the promotion, the followers, the house, and spend the rest of their lives quietly hollow because they never stopped to ask what any of it was actually for. They were efficient, they were impressive, and they were deeply, privately lost. And then there are people like you, people who couldn't make the standard timeline work, people who tried on identities that didn't fit, people who got knocked down by failure, by grief, by confusion, by their own impossible standards, people who are still searching. Jung would look at you and see someone on the edge of something rare, not because suffering is noble. Suffering is not noble, but because you have been forced, by circumstance, by sensitivity, by whatever it was, to go inward, to know yourself in ways that people who never struggled never will. That knowledge is the raw material of everything. The question is not whether you started late. The question is whether you're willing to start now. Not the version of starting that is about catching up, not the version that is driven by shame and urgency and the ghost of who you thought you'd be by now, but the version that is driven by curiosity, by depth, by the quiet, stubborn conviction that the real chapter, the one that actually belongs to you, is still ahead. Jung spent the last decades of his life working on a book called The Red Book. It was raw. It was strange. It was deeply, uncomfortably human. And it was the most honest thing he ever made. He didn't write it for the world. He wrote it because he had no choice, because something in him demanded to be expressed, regardless of whether it was impressive, timely, or correct. That is what you're being asked to do. Not to be on time. Not to beat the people you've been competing with in your head, but to be so relentlessly, stubbornly yourself, to go so deep into what is actually true for you, that what you eventually produce could not have come from anyone else. That is the late bloomer's gift. Not that they arrive last, but that when they arrive, they bring something no one has ever seen before. You're not behind. You're just about to begin.